Today I have another topic for you. Today we're going to explore how we can stop the kube scheduler and schedule a pod manually by ourselves. So in this sample question, they want you to SSH into the master node, try to stop this kube scheduler temporarily but don't do anything else. And they're telling us that we need to be able to start it back up again. And they tell you to create a pod of your choice using any image. Confirm that it's created, but it's unable to be scheduled on any node. And then manually schedule that pod on the master node. The pod must reach running status. And then finally they're telling you to restart the kube scheduler and confirm normal operation by creating another pod and ensure that it gets properly scheduled automatically. Okay. Now I just want to give you some quick background on kube-scheduler. What does it do? Basically it's just assigning a node for a pod to run in. This has to be an independent, dependency-free and always running service. So that's the reason why it has to be run as a static pod. Where do you find the kube-scheduler? By default, it's in this directory. Depending on how you bootstrap your cluster, it's usually found in etc Kubernetes manifest. In my cluster, it's also here. So if I list the files here, this is the kube-scheduler config file. So how did I know where to find my kube-scheduler file? In your system, first locate the kubelet service which runs this the static pods, and then you need to locate the config file. In my system, it's located here under systemd system kubelet service.d 10-kube adm-conf. If we open up this file, you find this value here. Right? Let's copy this. And if I open up the file that we copied, you can see here static pod path. So this is how I got the location. Right? Where can we find further information about these constants? You can go to this link in the Kubernetes documents under implementation details, kubeadm implementation details, right? You can find a lot more useful information here, right? Okay. So if you do not already know, any pod config found in this location would automatically spawn a pod, and you will not be able to delete it for as long as the kubelet service is running, and that's why they are called static pods. They bounce back automatically because they are managed by the kubelet service without the intervention of the kube API, meaning the control plane doesn't control the life cycle of these pods. The kubelet, however, mirrors a copy of these static pods on the API server, so that when you run the command kubectl get pods, you do see them in the usual output as well. Let me show you that. So you can see here, the kube-scheduler is running as a static pod, right? So why do we need static pods? As I mentioned earlier, they are needed because they bring up services that are required to run even when the API server is not available yet, such as the initial bootstrapping operation when you are first setting up your cluster, right? Okay, so how do we stop the scheduler? Very simple. I just mentioned earlier that any config file found in this location will spawn a pod. So it follows that if I move the kube-scheduler sorry about that. Let's say just to the next level of directory. It's gone over to the upper directory. If you get the ports again, you can see that you don't see kube-scheduler anymore, right? It's missing. Now, let's try to schedule a test pod. Okay. Just do a second one. You find that the second pod that I created is in a pending state. Right? Let's give it some time and check again. Now, why is it in a pending state? Because the kube-scheduler is not running, so there is no entity to assign this pod to a suitable node. So what do? We act as the scheduler. Let's do a manual schedule of this pod, right? Now, I just ran the kubectl run command to get this pod, so I don't have the YAML file to modify. So let's get the YAML output of this pod. So all we need to do is just assign the node name. Now the node name of our master is control, right? Okay, let's delete Nginx2. Oh, sorry about that. I need to add the word port. Okay. Okay. Let's delete this one as well. Okay. Now let's apply the file. So as you can see, it's creating and we've assigned it on the node control, which is the master. So if I check again, you can see that it's running. So we have manually assigned a node for this port, right? Right? Okay. Now let's bring the kube scheduler back into this location. Let's move the kube scheduler back to manifest. So it's back here. Now when we run another pod, we can see that it's automatically assigned to node 2 because the scheduler is back in action, and it will not schedule a pod on the control node because that's the master node, right? So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you found it useful. So see you in the next video.